There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. In God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sold my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans. Now the only thing the gambler needs is a suitcase and truck. And the only time he's satisfied is when he's on a drum. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done. Spend your lives in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Well, you one brother, the black one, the other put on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that falling train. Well, there is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. In God, I know I'm one.
There y'all go, people. Some 60s music. There y'all go. Laid back, kind of easy going.
They were so young.
Yes, I know, weren't they? Damn.
I look at them, go, wow.
First time I seen them was, oh God, they were old. I think I was like 30. They was on the President Steamboat. They were doing a concert in downtown New Orleans on the boat. What's that, Johnny Glee? That's the Animals. It's Eric Burdon and Animals. Sorry. So yeah, they're a pretty good group. I always enjoyed their music.
I really enjoyed them a lot.
Yes, I enjoyed their music. No, it's not. You're thinking of Riders of the Storm. Who is that?
Purple Riders of the Purple Sage.
No, the one that died in the bathtub. Oh man, what is his damn name? Anyway, when it comes in my head, I'll remember.
That's about
He's
half
very,
the people there.
yeah, he was, yeah, it's true too. No, he was very famous. He used to like to go do peyote out in the desert. He had a lot of hits. He had quite a few of them.
Not
Uh,
Hendrix.
no, it wasn't Hendrix. It's he was pretty young when he died too. Well, anyway, when it comes to it, we will talk about it. Anyway, welcome, John, guys. John's hanging out with us today. John was out in Dragon Con in Atlanta causing all kind of trouble. Every time I seen him, I kept hearing the song "Boogadea Boogadea," so I wasn't sure what was going on. Which, if y'all don't know what that song is, you'll have to look it up. I can tell it. Maybe I'll play it at the end of the show for y'all. Oh man, looked like it was a good crowd. I seen a couple of different views. I knew a couple other people that were there, and then I seen a couple of media clips. But I only seen media clips out of Atlanta, which I thought was kind of weird. None of the local medias were picking it up, which is strange because usually, at least the last few years, I've seen like the local media, at least say, "Hey, Dragon Con's going on in Atlanta," because a lot of people from New Orleans were going up there. But for some reason this year, they were really quiet about it. Maybe they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Carmen was working trying to get me on various shows, and he didn't get. There was just not even a nibble.
Yeah, it was strange. What was that? I don't know, man. It was a lot of. I don't know.
It was
good.
it was an awesome show for us. We were just like inundated,
it looked very busy. I mean, everybody looked busy. Everybody looked happy.
Yeah,
you
for
go
us, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, which was actual Memorial Day. So or Labor Day, we had all 4 days were just packed. And Thursday, we also did a show, a book signing with Orson Scott Card and S.M. Sterling at one of the Books a Million stores, about a half hour outside of out of Atlanta. The store itself is called Second and Charles. It's one of their superstores, and that did really well too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's some good. We're talking about Dragon Con, Jeffrey. No,
yeah,
so
and the week before we were in Tampa, Florida, for the Tampa Comic Con. So we've been 2 weeks of just like back-to-back shows.
In 2 weeks, you'll be in Salt Lake City for Fann. So
yeah.
Well, you just go up to the booth. You just see it's Big Writers of the Futures booth. You can't miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure you can't miss it. It's huge.
No, you can't miss it. And well, if you get too close, one of the girls will get you anyway. So you're not going to miss it. Just keep an eye out for that Sarah person. It's yes, she's evil. But no, it looked like a lot of fun. I mean, I had seen some shots from a couple of the different hotels inside. The crowds looked nice. Everybody looked well behaved. When I crossed through the Atlanta Journal, Atlanta Times, whatever the hell they call it, there wasn't much about any kind of violence or any kind of fighting.
No, there weren't any incidents. I'm good friends with the owners, and I said, "So how'd it go?" Because we always meet up with Pat Henry after the show's over on Monday. We go to this nice steakhouse called Cuts, and he's always there with his family, and we always go there to celebrate a good show. So we had me and Emily and Julie and Sarah and Lucy, who was there for marketing. She did like 600 marketing surveys. And so it was, we saw them and said, no, it was a pretty smooth show. I mean, it's just jam packed constantly, but for us, it was, both of them were really good, but Atlanta was special this year because what we started doing, because we're good friends with the owners of all the shows, we get extra booth space provided to us so we can bring out winners of Writers of the Future and Illustrators of the Future and judges. And they'll fly out some of the judges to be there, and they're at our booth selling. They give us an extra booth space that we'll put them in, and they can then just sell throughout the convention. And so we have in Tampa, we had Robert J. Sawyer, who's won every major science fiction award, and Jody Lynn Nye. And then James Rassone wasn't selling there, but he came to visit, and I recorded a podcast, which we air next week. He's the one that does a lot of near future, hard science fiction, just scary stuff, super scary.
Yeah. Well, by the way, on podcast, I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's going to be an extra Writers of the Future this week. So one of them's going up today, which was episode 91. 92, though, will probably go up Monday or Tuesday. So we're just getting John back on schedule. Yeah, that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
And that way next Saturday he'll be back on his normal thing.
Good, yeah.
Well, he's always ahead of you.
When we went to Atlanta, that's where it went really crazy because they also give us extra space there. But we had in Atlanta, we had extra authors brought in. So there we had Orson Scott Card, the guy that wrote Ender's Game, Nancy Kress, she was the writer guest of honor. She's one of our judges. We had Hugh Howey. He's the one that's got the TV series Silo right now with Rebecca Ferguson starring in that. Robert J. Sawyer came up from Tampa to Atlanta. S.N. Sterling and Jody Lynn Nye. So they were all there. But Orson Scott Card, he was basically attacked pretty heavily when Ender's Game, the movie, came out because his religion, he's like, he says, look, my religion says, gay marriage isn't sanctioned. So he said, I'm against gay marriage just because of that. He had gay staff, gay assistants, but just gay marriage wasn't, for his religion. So he said that, but he was just totally excoriated by the woke community. And so he just went back and stopped going out. After the movie, he stopped attending conventions. And so he kept on writing and he continues to put out his books. But then we've been with Rise of the Future, been working with him, and he does his quarterly live Q&As on social media. And last month I took him to Clearwater where we did a live a writing workshop. We had 130 people there, which was and he had 3 book signings after each night. And so he had 6 hours of book signings, just jam packed, and people would come. I'd like to introduce my son named Ender. And here's my tattoo I got from Speak for the Dead. And just like he didn't have any pushback at all. It's like the woke and, they're the ones, the warriors that can be within their, using their emojis and their fake identities and stuff like that, and super warrior, and the different things that they use, but no names and no real pictures. But they're just really nasty people. They didn't show up there. So when we went to Atlanta, we did the first signing at 2nd and Charles, and that went for 2 hours. People just brought tons of books and were amazed, at his reception there. And then we came to Atlanta Dragon Con, and then the event was referred to the next day. It was called the Legend of Orson Scott Card. And it's going to go down in history as that because he had more people in line for him than any other person at Dragon Con, any other celeb, any other author, anything. And so we came there and we thought, okay, we can handle him and we'll just deal with it. And we were on high alert. We were at the red mode, just anticipating anything, wanting to be prepared. And nothing came up, but it was just, so the convention said, so you got this under control? I said, yeah, we're fine. And then within a few minutes, it was obvious that we weren't. We had to have 4 volunteers with walkie-talkie radios to handle the people because it immediately lined up. They were there for 2 hours in advance before his signing. It went down the wall and around, and it stayed that way for 2 hours. And so the first day we had to cut off an hour in advance so people in line could then come in. On Saturday, he came to a signing an hour and a half early. So people had just started queuing up. So he went from 3:15 to 6:45 because the show was over at 7 nonstop. And finally at 6:45 was when the last person came through the line. And it was just amazing. People would come. Again, this is my son, Ender. Here's my tattoo. One girl came up and was like, can I just yell something at him? And Emily was going, whoa, what do you mean yell at him? I said, I just want to say something. She said, okay, well, if it's going to be nice, go ahead. So she went, Mr. Card, I just got to say, and, I love yourself so much. And I just wanted to, and then she just started crying. And she started crying and crying and crying. he said, "Oh my gosh, you want a picture with him? Oh, can I? Can I?" So, he was so gracious. He talked to everybody that came. Anybody wanted a picture would get a picture. Some people would brought a bucket of books, literally, like a rolly thing. And so his policy was, okay, I'll personalize 2 books and I'll sign anything else, unless it's a gift. Then I'll also personalize a gift. And it was just amazing how he just kept going. And it was such a good experience for all concerned. And then all the social media hit afterwards. And it was like the woke people are going crazy. Orson Scott Card was loved. Scott Card is so not canceled. It just went on and on and on. How much great social, he got, and that I said the woke community tried, being upset, but it was just like it was so overwhelming that how much he was loved. It was great, but we had at our booth constant flow of happening. I'm so sorry you weren't able to come, because you would have had a blast and a half.
Oh, I know.
Even our neighbors who we've been next to for several years said, "Boy, you've really upped your game this year," and they loved it because all those people coming to us, they'd stop by and they'd buy stuff from them. We had a guy we were next to him in Tampa, and then he was across from us this year, and so it was like, wow. And he said, "I love you guys." People waiting in line would look at all the clothes and they'd be buying clothes. He said, "This was great. I sold so much stuff because of you." So it was great, but we had our judges there. What we do is we allow the winners or judges to bring their own books, and they have to have their own swiper, their own, card reader, so that they could then sell their own books, because we don't charge them. We don't make any cut on it. Common doesn't make any cut on it. So it's up to them.
Yeah, you'd have to charge them because you got to pay a damn fee to use that damn card thing.
Yeah, but they were there. So normally when they were doing it before, the vendor that they'd come to would bring in the books, and they'd get a cut. This time here they get 100%. It's like, it's not for us. And then when they sold Riders of the Future books, if they were in, what we would do is we'd have them enable them. They'd be there. If they'd sold the books, then they would, if they invoiced it, then they pay us 50%, which is the discount we give to, that's our author discount we give. So if they sold our books using their scanner, then they make 50%, and we basically would give them the books on consignment. And then if they said, "No, that's okay, just sell yours," then we make the full amount. But mostly we let them sell and pay us on consignment, which was good. And then we had several of our winners from the past years, which was, it was such a good event for us. And because we had so many judges there, they had to have 2 writer panels at Dragon Con. We had 2 of them because there's too many people to be on one panel. And then Emily did the art panel, and that went really well. So they give us also at Dragon Con, they give us a separate booth in the art show. And there we can then promote the contest. Both of them, we promote the contest a lot because we get a lot of people entering the contest by attending these shows. So it was just, it was really, really good. And just the amount of admiration and love that came to all the judges and the winners that were there. And then, we sold so many books. Some people came in, and because obviously L. Ron Hubbard's a really popular author. Battlefield Earth just continued to do well. And we had several people come and bought the full sets of the stories from the Golden Age, those pulp books, fiction books. And we sold hundreds of Riders of the Future books. So it was like, it was really good. And for us, it's good getting out there, because then you meet new customers, you see new people. And so it was just really good. And then we're looking forward to now going to Salt Lake City in a few weeks to be set up there. And then after that, then I go to Frankfurt, Germany for a big trade show out there at the Frankfurt Book Fair.
See, this man never stays still for 5 minutes, people. 5 minutes. I know he can't help himself. ADHD, DDD, HDHTTT, man. He just can't. We just added
No,
a
it's
few.
just BUSY. That's what I am.
We're just
I'm
adding
not
in some.
into that stuff. I'm just BUSY.
It's Well, no, I mean, Drag Con looked like it was good. I mean, I didn't, like I said, I didn't hear anything bad about it this year. But I really never hear anything bad about it, to be honest with you.
No.
Guys, goes, you can go on Rise Future site and look. You can go on Dragon Con site to look. There's I seen Pat in a couple of different outfits running around. He's the owner, guys. He's the big
Yeah.
chief, and he's a really nice guy. Yeah, last time I seen him, he bought me some tomato soup and stuff. Like, you can buy me this. I'll buy me some soup. He's funny, and he was with Bill, so Bill's kind of funny too. It's but everybody looked like they were having a good time, and that's all that matters. I mean, all y'all staff look good, and every now and then I'd see a camera sweep. Oh well, Pete. Oh, okay, real quick. So Tampa and San Diego, John walked around and kind of gave y'all a view. But see, we didn't set that up this year because I was planning on being there. I usually go to Dragon Con and meet him up there. And this year, the universe had other things in store. But what? No, what do you mean? No, I didn't go anywhere. I was here working. Yeah, life's a bitch sometimes.
Yeah,
it's. Well, I was planning on seeing my sister too. My sister lives in Atlanta, even though she's a little. What are you gonna say? I still love her though. Yes, she's. Her
well, evidently Red Apple didn't fall far.
Oh no, they're. I wish I had
further from you.
The other day I look and see him. I look up. I get a picture of my page there in Switzerland. These two can never stay still. I don't even know how they get this much time off to travel every year. Something to do with the way their jobs are set up. I know he's got a stressful job, so they give him extra time off. Obviously, my sister gets extra time off. She was out on a carrier for 2 weeks learning how to be a commander about 10 years ago. And then every year they send her some course like that, where she can learn something professional. Don't ask me, people. I wouldn't trust her with an aircraft carrier. Give me a break, man. I love her, but come on. No, she does a lot of stuff like that. And then they just travel a lot. I mean, they were last 3 years, they pretty much did all of the EU. They were all over it. Well, we have family in Europe. We have family and friends in Europe. But in Italy, we also have family and friends too. Our last name is all over the place over there. So it's kind of like Smith when you're in Italy. It's just, and there's like 5 versions of it, but it's all the same name because we all share the same coat of arms. Yeah, so it's kind of comfortable. I've got, and I know she does too. So like right now, if I went to Italy, there's a couple places I could stay. People would just put me up and keep me there. We helped a monastery get their all their artwork redone inside of. They had these beautiful paintings, and they were just starting to crumble. And somehow another guy, one of the priests, got hold to me, and we were talking one day. So we just started running ads on the radio, and then some group out of New York picked it up and went and paid to have it all redone, all reconditioned. It's beautiful, yeah. So they actually got a room over there with my name on the door. I thought it was funny. You probably will never get I think there's like 800 people in the town itself. Yes, the murals were beautiful though. Yes. Then in Tuscany, a friend of mine, it's actually called Tuscany Montaldo. A friend of mine has a pizza restaurant on top of a mountain out there. Beautiful place. He's got a chalet behind his house. He said it's yours for the whole time you want to stay. Just come hang out with us. We'll feed you. He said we own a restaurant, so you won't have to worry about food. That's all I need to go hang out with a bunch of Italians in Italy. Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight, not gain it. But there's a few other friends I got around there. And then I got some friends in Northern Italy and all over the place. And then I got some friends in recently I made some more friends in Ireland, Scotland, Wales. And what's interesting about it is a common theme. All of these people have an interest in some kind of education. Well, I don't want to just say reading because it's more than just reading they're doing, but every time I see any of them, they always got a book in their hand, or they're going to get a book in their hand. Oh, they drive me crazy with that crap. I'm like, she's like, Joey. I said, no, I have audio tapes. So like, well, I said, I use audio tapes. The world's going on. There's a lot of audio now, people. There's a lot of books on audio these days. And John and them do these now. We got 2 years now on audio, right?
Yeah, I think we got a total of 5 years, but we skipped a few.
Okay.
The last couple of years we did that. We started.
Well, they can't be cheap to do them.
Yeah, No, well, it's not necessarily that cheap because you have to pay for the talent
That's what I'm
and
saying,
mixing
yeah.
and all that stuff there. But we did the last 2 audiobooks ourselves. Jason mixed them, and he learned how to do that. Yeah, so that's on audiobook as well now. That was recorded by Jim Meskman, his wife Tamara, and daughter Taylor, and then we had our British friend. She was just in a movie over there in London that did really, really well. She played Mary Poppins in she played
nice.
Julie Andrews.
As soon as you said that, it went right out of my damn head. What was that, Chris? Yeah, I'll show you the back for you. There you go. Look, can you see it? Yeah. You'll have to zoom it in on yours, but that's all you need to know. Wait, my fingers are going to cover up all the bottom, so let me move it. Yep, see it. What's that, Michael?
Victoria Summer, that's the other one.
Yes. No, you can zoom right in on that and read away. Yeah. What do you mean? I stole this. What are you talking about? I mean, I stuck this down on my shirt and stole this book. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Hell yeah, you got to fight for these things when you're there, especially when they autograph. See, like when they autograph like that, you got to fight for these damn books, man. They don't like giving these things away. They make money on these books. Oh no! Well, in all fairness, I know some of the signed books go to places like Barnes and Nobles and Books A Million. Some go to some of the people who are there. Some go to some of the judges, and some go to the winners themselves. Yes. No, how many books y'all sign on the book signing? Well, like 500 or something.
When we do the thing, when we have the book reveal to the winners, they do 350 that day. But the night of the event, they'll do another 400, 500. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of books floating around getting signed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he does artwork for a living, and we were talking, and he was signing. I said, "Is that your regular signature?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Don't do that." He's like, "Well," I said, "You know, hanging out with these people that do all these authors and illustrators, they don't use your real signature when you sign like an autograph or something like that." He said, "Because you don't want people copying your signature and going to use it at the bank later on." And he's like, "Well, I never thought about that." I said, "Yeah, I never really thought about it either." I said, "But it's just one of the little pieces of advice you pick up when you're there."
Yeah.
So now he's designing. According to him, he's designing his new signature.
That's
he sends
good.
me like
You need to hold him that.
Yeah, he sent me like 5 of them today. Which one looks the best? I said, I don't care. It's your signature. You put whatever the hell you want on there. Oh no, you can't forge mine. Mine is like chicken scratch, man. No way. You can forget that. And the bank knows it too, because the way I sign it is if anybody tries to sign, I instantly get a phone call from the bank. Yeah, because it's a reaction sign, so you're not gonna be able to reproduce it. Because first off, no one signs their signature the same way twice. It's not the way you do it. It's always a little bit different in every signature. So one of the way they know it's a forgery. If you get like 10 signatures in a row and they're exactly the same, well, you know it's a forgery. It's not real. Yeah, sometimes you might the I might be over, the dot might be over, a letter might be slanted more, but you never sign it quite the same way. Yeah, the things you learn, useless information is what that is. It really is. What's that? Crystalline, crystallis, or how the hell you say that? Break it out for me. Do the vowels. Crystalline. Well, I don't even know what that is. You were at Dragon Con? Well, I hope you had a good time. What were you doing there? Cosplay. Oh, you one of them cosplay people. Cosplay and a lot of comic book stuff. Did you? I mean, you had a good time. Yeah, they went in the red booth. Yeah, you probably seen them if you went through there. Did y'all have Turley with y'all this year?
No, girl. We just had our big red booth and constant lines.
Yes, well, that's what you want. Well, no, you could have stopped in and got your book. They have a lot of books there when you go in. There's a lot of different stuff there.
When the floor manager said that we're referred to as one of the anchor booths. So that when you tell people where to go, they go, okay, it's 2 aisles past Galaxy Press, or it's the aisle just, when they tell people where to go, because it's such a prominent booth in the show floor on the first level of the expo hall that I hadn't heard that before, but she said, yeah, you're one of the anchor booths. They said, what does that mean? And they said, well, we tell people where to go in reference to your booth when they go in the hall. So that's pretty cool.
It is. What's that, Rainy? No. There's a lot of stuff for sale. There's 3. Well, last year there was 3 floors. I wasn't there this year, so I don't know. But last year there was 3 floors.
Yeah, 3 floors. Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. What do you mean? Do you pay more? Actually, I don't know if you can just go without. You might have to wait a year or so to get in. Sometimes I've talked to people.
They sell out their badges, so you can order the badges. They're for sale now, and then you can buy the 4-day passes, and then there's the day passes. And,
they're talking about getting a booth.
Booth. Yeah, so in that right there, you need to sooner the better, because there are waiting lines for it. And one of the guys I brought to Tampa, James Rassone, who's been on the podcast a couple of times, he wants to go to Dragon Con next year. And so I gave him the data how to order a booth. And he said, well, how long do I have? And I said, well, it's first come, first serve.
Yeah, it is. And I know for a fact last year, because a couple of writers last year wanted to go, and there wasn't no booth.
Yeah.
They go fast, people. I mean, because just so many, 80,000, 90,000 people running there every day. I mean, it's a gold mine. And if you've got a decent product and decent salespeople, or just yourself's a good salesperson, you can make some money.
Yeah, and Dragon Con counts it differently than a lot of other shows. Other shows will count when they say we got 200,000 people or 150,000 people. It's if a person goes 3 days, that counts 3. But Dragon Con, one person counts 1, whether either 1 day or 4 days. So it's that many different bodies that are there, at Dragon Con. So and they take over all of downtown Atlanta, all the big hotels.
Yeah, they do.
And, the art show is in the bottom of the Hyatt, and that's where they've got a lot of activities are in the Hyatt, because the America's Mart, they had America's Mart is where they did all the vendors, and that's building 2, and then building 3 is where they had gaming, which is a whole different thing there. I didn't even go over there, but that's where they do all the gamers go there, and they do all the different, the board games and the video, all the different games that they do over there at in building 3. It's massive what they do.
It is. It is massive. Well, no, Jeff, I didn't go this year, but so the last 3 years I went, not this year, but that 3 before that. First off, man, get your ass in shape before you go. So I'm gonna give all y'all a piece of advice, especially if you're a little chunky. Okay, you got a year for Dragon Con to come. Do some walking. Preferably up and down hills, because Atlanta is hilly, and remember, it's not necessarily going to be cool just because it's September. It's still the deep South. It's not the real deep South, but it's still the deep South, and it can be 80, 90, 95 degrees. So, prepare yourself for it. It's a lot of fun. There's lots of places to eat. Uber, I noticed. I used Uber several times. It worked really well. They pick you right up inside the street. Well, I cheated. So I made friends with a guy at the parking garage across from the Sheridan. Yes, I'm not going to tell you how, but I made friends with him. So he gave me a corner parking spot. I was driving for 3 years. Each year I was driving something, but the first year I made friends with him, and he let me park right there in that corner each year for $30 all day. I could have left the vehicle there. He didn't care. He said, look, we know who you are now. So he's a real nice guy. I'm not going to tell you how I did it. No, because I don't want to get now, because other people might try. No.
The parking, and you've got the Prime right next there. It's like $40.
Yeah, it's $40,
and then it goes down to 30, then 20. But
if you
I was by the hotel where we stayed, to do valet at the hotel was $45, and said, we did it the first night, but then after that we went to the parking garage across the street, which is $30 a night, and that's convention rates. As soon as the convention is over, that goes back down to 18 or whatever it was. But it's definitely supply and demand.
Chris, I bitch about that all the time. That to me, that's price gouging, but they can do it anyway. Special event stuff, yeah. Well, I don't think it's right. I don't think you should be able to go up in your hotel prices and your parking prices because of a special event. No, I think that you're just raping the people. But it's like football games are the same thing. So the problem with me with the special event thing is, it's not just like it's Dragon Con or the Falcons. There's weekly conventions there. So that means these prices are staying like that most of the time. So these places are raking in the money and raping you while they're doing it. So I always keep that in mind. And no, I'm gonna tell you another thing. I was telling you I'll get in shape. Be sure you bring lots of money with you. Pay for your hotel in advance, so you don't have to worry about it. Wherever you stay, pay for it in advance. That way, it's one less thing to worry about. I would look around and see where the places are. I mean, you're gonna find places where you're there because there's food trucks all over the place. So you can grab something from one of the food trucks, but there's several restaurants right there. There's some even in the hotels. They're all over the place. So
Yeah.
but most of them you can find probably about 30 restaurants within a half a mile all the way around. Now the first time when I stayed a mile away, I stayed at the Hilton, which was 179, 270. I don't know. I had a suite. I had with the bedroom and the living room and the separate bathrooms and stuff. So it was a little bit more, but it's very comfortable. And it was. And the best part for me was the street next to the hotel. You go straight to it, and you're right there in Dragon Con. It was great. You didn't have to do anything. And then actually, the first couple of times I brought the truck and parked it, but to be honest with you, once I got used to the Uber system down there, I just Ubered everywhere I wanted to go. It wasn't expensive.
It's pretty nice there. The main thing I do is avoid in Atlanta, at least the Saturday morning when they have the parade. You just get wherever you're going to be, and then by noon you can start moving again. Because to try to get across the street between 10 and 11:30, or not between 9 and 11:30, it's like it's just a nightmare trying to cross Peachtree from one side to the other because the parade happening.
And remember, wherever you're staying, check out events around you. Because the first year there was a basketball tournament going on, a college basketball tournament going on down the street from where I was staying. So the hotel, it was insanity. Between Dragon Con and that, it was just insane. I didn't have any trouble. Everybody was very, like I said, everybody was very laid back, very nice. No, I got the lightsaber at Fann in Utah. Yeah, I cut a deal. As a matter of fact, I think we're bringing him back this year. If him and I talked just about 2 days ago.
That's good.
Yeah. So, well, all together, he's given away. What is it? Fantasy Light, I think is the name of the company. He's given away probably $12,000, maybe $15,000 in lightsabers with us. Well, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not. So the ones like the Kylo Ren ones are $999 each. And y'all know who Kylo Ren is, right? If you don't, look him up. But he's got the red one with the things that come out the side. They're $999 each. If it's somebody famous like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that, it may be $500, $600, $700. But they have ones with different hilts on them and different styles, different lights, and most of them make sounds. Yeah, so you can enjoy. No, I broke the sound of mine like the third day I had it. It's not on them. No. It's not because it was cheap. It's very well built. It's not that. I just anyway, we're not going to get into that. But I was being a dumbass. I was lightsabering my dogs. Yes, that's what's going on. But at least I was smart because they asked me. Well, it's not like I paid for it anyway. But so when they asked me if I wanted to keep the glass blade that's on it, or if I wanted the fighting blade. I didn't know there was actually fighting contests with these things. So I got the fighting blade. Thank God I did, because I had banged this thing, whacked this thing, hit kids with this thing, hit kids with it, hit the dogs, hit the walls, hit the doors, and it's still in one piece. It would have been glass. It would have been long gone. It would have been. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're going to just put them on a wall, the glass is the way to go because it's prettier. It's cleaner looking. But if you plan on playing with them and using them, no. Go with the fighting blade. Yes. That way you can whack stuff and you don't have to worry about breaking it. That's not just that. I mean, there's so much stuff there. And then we were just talking about the cosplay a minute ago. There's usually a huge section on cosplay. Yes. And what's funny about it is they've got cosplay like in the other hotels where they're doing stuff like little shows. And then there's cosplay where John and them at where they're doing autographs. It's actually selling autographs is what they're doing. Yeah. Pictures and autographs. Yeah. Well, I found out a weird way. I had set up some interviews. I had been talking with John, and we were hanging out in the booth doing some stuff, and I went walking, and I met 2 or 3 people by the booth over there and said, well, would y'all like to do some interviews? And told them who I was, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, let me go back. So I was carrying something, so I brought it back to John's booth because I didn't want to carry it around with me. And I went and sat back and started doing some interviews. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder. Are you such and such? And I looked at him and it's like, I'm in the middle of an interview. Can you come back in a few minutes? I didn't want to be rude, but I mean, I was in the middle of an interview. And then I noticed it was like 3 of them standing by. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So the little girl, I finished the interview. The other little girl comes and sits up. She said, can I have your autograph? I'm like, huh? I just looked at her like she must have thought I was ignorant or something. I don't even have to explain the face I had going on. I was just like, what the hell are you talking about? And because I hadn't done nothing on TV or radio wise in at least 7 or 8 months. And an Ancient Aliens episode had dropped that night prior to the interview. And I guess some of the people staying there had seen it. And I was kind of like, yeah. And she told me why. So her and I got to talk. And then the next thing I knew, there's 3 or 4 people standing there talking. Next thing we knew, there was like 15, 20 people talking to me. And then some other people came to talking to her. They had some nice lady came up and asked, because what happened was it ended like it was like a ball of people in the middle of the floor. So she came up real nice and asked us if we could all move. All the staff is really nice.
Yeah. Now, and what's amazing is like at Dragon Con, the same thing at Tampa or Salt Lake City.
Yeah. I haven't been to Tampa yet, guys.
99% of the people you work with there are all volunteers. The actual payroll people is less than a handful.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And one thing that's really good too for us, because we're able to get a lot of repeat business with readers and the word of mouth on readers, that people like the, obviously Battlefield Earth. What's really fun with Battlefield Earth is somebody comes up and then you've got someone else will walk by and say, oh, that's a great book. Totally accidental tag. Somebody will walk up there and say, oh, I love that. I had so many people saying I've read it 3 times, 5 times. Some people coming in buying, I need to buy another one because my paperback is broken. It's in 3 pieces, so that was really good. And then because of the number of winners and judges there, the influence of Rise of Future has increased a lot. And it's in the booth that we had there, it has a big picture there of all the Rise of Future books. And then we had 2 banners on either side saying Galaxy Press featuring the books of L. Ron Hubbard. So it was a very definite, in your face for people like reading books. And it's also good too, because we can answer questions that people have about, isn't Hubbard the guy that did Dianetics and Scientology? Yeah, but before that, he was one of America's most popular writers of pulp fiction. And so they get, like, I had no idea. And so they see this stuff and they, well, I've not read anything by him. So what do you recommend? So we're able to do lots of recommendations. You say, what do you like? Well, I like dark fantasy, or I like horror. Okay. Stephen King says that this book here is one of the best ones that you can read. That's Fear. And some people like, well, I like fantasy. I like science fiction. So what do they like? We sold probably 50 Western books because he wrote a lot of Westerns too. So it's great. We've got something for everybody there. And then we got those fancy prints like the one you got behind you there.
Mm-hmm. So y'all can't see it. Let's see if they can see.
Yeah.
So John, look, unplug the camera. Hold on a second, people. Fat itis finger. There it is, right there.
There you go. Yeah. So we had those there. So we sold one of those, and other prints that we have that we sell. So it's because those are all signed by Frazetta, and he's just such a superhero there. And one thing too that we did that was new this year is at the very first Rise of Future Awards event, Ray Bradbury was a guest. So at the panels, Ray Bradbury is the guy that wrote Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah. Another controversial book.
Yeah, and it's just one of the famous writers that he passed away half a dozen years ago or so. But he was at the first Rise of the Future gala, and so he did an interview. So we recently uncovered it, and so I played it there at both panels, and it was just people like, wow, that was amazing. But even more receptive were the judges. They were like, because they knew him. He was older than them, but they knew him, and so it was really good seeing their reaction as well to seeing a video with him talking that, at the first awards ceremony way back in 1985.
Well, Clark, they've got a great group of judges. It's funny about that. I was on with Prometheus the other night. We're working on 4, 5, and 6 for the series we're doing. And it's interesting because I was offered an interview talking about the judges of Writers of the Future. I turned it down, by the way. It wasn't, before anybody thinks it was anything hostile, it wasn't. It was such a weird, off the wall. Because Frank was like, oh, what was that about? I said, I don't know. I said, I do interview a lot of Writers of the Future judges. I said, probably 12 or 15 now.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what it was? It caught me off guard. Because it was out of the blue. We weren't talking about that. We were talking about aliens and abductions, and because that's what the series is about, and that's what we're talking about. And this just kind of came out of nowhere. And I just looked at the guy. He said, "Well, I'm with the Times," and I'm like, "Okay." He said, "Well, we're here for what you're doing right now because they're doing I don't know. It's like a quarter page." He said, probably on me in the Times about this Netflix thing we're doing. I guess Netflix worked it out to get some kind of get some free press or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it was just kind of weird. It was just kind of and it really truly. I mean, I have interviewed Glenn, not all the judges, but a lot of them. Probably 65% of the judges they have now I've interviewed. It could be more, but.
We have a total of about 60 judges.
Yeah. So all the judges for the last 5 seasons I've met personally, and I've talked in great detail to all of them. Not one of them was rude to me, and I can be a real pain in the ass. And they were all very nice and very straightforward with their answers. And I asked a lot of pertinent questions, and they were very fair. I had a lot. John knows what was going on at the time. I had a lot of things I was looking for, and they answered all the questions very pertinently. That's all I was looking for. So yes, we endorse them 100% fully to whoever just put that on my screen. And a great group of people. All you're not going to do when you get to the judges. Now they're all different personalities. I don't want to steer you the wrong way, but
they're all.
Oh yeah, they're very different from each other.
It's like amazing.
I mean, when you're talking with Wesley Dean Smith and Kevin J, it's like night and day, people. Oh, they're great to talk to together, though. By the way, it's just, and there's some conversations I've been privy to that I can't really share with y'all, but it was very nice to know, and they're very personal people, and it was very nice to be included in those conversations because they didn't have to. They could say, "Hey, Joe, why don't you go over there or something?" And well, you learn a lot about people when they talk about their personal lives. You do. I mean, that's how you learn about people. And I haven't. What do you mean? Who? I don't. If I have fault with anybody, who told you that? No, I've never said that anywhere. So far, I haven't met any of the judges I have fault with. Some of them I really, 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 really like. Yes, one of the judges is a host on the network. Well, actually, John's not a judge, so he don't count. But just Echo Tourniquet. She's a coordinated judge for Illustrators. She hosts on the network. Matter of fact, she was just on before us with herself. Yes, I need to stop and see her one day. Nobody, I was getting ready to say that too when John said it a little while ago when he was talking about Dianetics and L. Ron. In the olden, if you went back even 8 or 9 years ago, it was probably more of a pain in the ass than it is today. Because I noticed today, most people just ignore it. They don't. It doesn't seem to be. How can I say this? A thing. It doesn't seem to be a thing. People don't really care. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're gonna always run into some, somewhere. But for the most part, no, they don't. You mean calling me to talk about them? No, they know better than to do that. I've been very rude to some some non-associated people. How's that? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm never rude. Jesus. Thank you, but apparently you don't know me real well. I'm just saying, man.
But one thing with the judges, they all have in common because they represent every religion, every political. Yep. There's like far right, far left, and right everything in between. Various nationalities, but what they all share in common is the desire to provide that helping hand to the newcomer. Whether it be a writer or an artist, and so we share that, and that's why I'm on Writers of the Future. You never see any politics or religion because it's all about the arts. whether it's writing or illustration. And that's how L. Ron Hubbard created it. He knows that the artist brings the spirit of life into a culture, and so he created this to help provide that new the new blood into illustration, into writing, so that we can continue to breathe that life into society. And it's so divisive. You have people that are they become blinded to anything rational. It's like, oh, they see something or they hear something and they repeat what they've gotten on
they get stuck in a loop or something,
channel, whatever social media channel, and they don't know anything about the subject that they're hating on, but they just know they need to hate on it because that's what's PC, at the moment within their little group. So anyway, so the contest itself, for those of you who don't know, it was created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard. The first book was published in 85. It's free to enter. It's been free to enter all along. It's blind judge, meaning all the judges see is your story or your art and a number. So you have no idea if you're male, female, your sexual preference, your nationality, your ethnic, nothing. It's just strictly your art and your story. And if you look at any of the awards events, you'll see that we've got the winners are like all across the board there, what we have coming up there. And it's just they won fair and square, so we bring them out. And one thing that's changed of late is as AI has become more and more prevalent in the arts, we really, we made the rules there. No AI in the art, no AI in storytelling. You got to be writing the story. And so we check it. The judges are very well read. They can tell at this stage, they can still tell AI storytelling. In the art, there's various apps you can check and see, is this fake? Is this AI art? Is the real thing? And it's getting better, but still, our judges are so experienced, so they can see what a paintbrush actually looks like. They know what a paintbrush, how strokes look like, individual strands of ink and color. They can see when it's a legitimate versus AI generated. And so it's unfortunate, because as soon as you say no AI, then somebody's obviously going to try to game it. They're going to try to come in and say, I'm going to prove that I can win. And so in the illustrators, we go through, Joni has to go through the coordinating, the contest director. She works with a coordinating judge, and they'll go through half a dozen of the winners, rejecting them because it was AI art, before you finally get the people that are really doing honest art. And we haven't had any writers make it all the way to the end. Earlier on, they come up, and it doesn't become an issue that we have to really look for that until the end. But it's all about the actual art, being able to create art and being able to create stories. And it's unfortunate, with the times that we have right now, that people will try to do it the easy way. And
maybe you should have a category for AI art, man.
Yeah. I'll send that to you, and you can fund that one.
No, we're not getting into that. I ain't got nothing to do. I don't have nothing to do with it. There's already, I figure
anybody wants the AI art, submit it all to Joe. He'll take it.
Yes. Well, if it's really good, you can submit it to me. But
Glenn, don't send it to Writers of Future, Illustrators of Future, because we will not deal with it at all.
No. See, that was funny because before all this started, I had Jeff Weiner on the show, and he was doing AI art, and I'm not kidding y'all. Jeff did the show, and when I got up the show, the first call I made was to John. I was like, what the bleep, 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 bleep are y'all doing about this? Because I knew right off the bat it was going to be a problem for them. Well, I wasn't so much worried about the Arthur stuff, because even the comic book that he made online was a pretty decent comic book. So Jeff Weiner did this comic book for us on air, where he told it what it wanted. He made 2 paragraphs of what he wanted it to be about. Then it did the bubbles itself, and it did the artwork itself, which was a decent little comic book. Say it would be like a comic book, say, that your 16-year-old wrote or something. Maybe, I mean, you could obviously tell by reading it that it wasn't quite, how can I say this? It just wasn't quite something you'd want to see on a newsstand somewhere or somewhere up for sale or something. And then because the thing has to draw from so much literature, I think it overthinks things sometimes. And puts in too much crap. Or some matter of fact, if it gets to be really long, because I went through a couple of books, it turns into jibber jabber like a third of the way into the book.
Yeah,
because it's not human, and there's certain things it just doesn't understand. Oh, give it time. Oh, give it time. It's learning. Same thing with what's like when you see it do artwork. Even today, it still messes up the human hands and feet. Sometimes they'll look like they're this big. Well, where's the camera? This big. It just doesn't look right. They're like stretched, and there's other things that you can tell. I mean, it's going to get better and better as it goes, but sooner or later, someone's going to come
that we
up
learned
with
at our
software.
last Illustrator panel is that an artist can do stuff when they load their image up. You can there's filters you can put on it or apps you can use that will, if someone tries to scan it and scrape it, it'll actually convert it. It'll mess up so that it doesn't. If the painting is of a seascape, when someone scrapes it and tries to steal it, it turns it into a rock. So, but the thing is, there's different things you can do to protect your art, protect your work, and it's also work to be able to get laws to be able to protect it as well, because copyright should be able to protect your stuff, and that's some of the stuff that's going on right now, where
it pushes
head on people that have scraped, the net to take your stories and stuff like that, and
because it does it'll pull like 10 paragraphs out of this book and 8 out of this one, and it's just bullshit is what it is. No, Jack, there's a couple of things going on. One, Congress wants the new AIs and even the old ones to be reprogrammed so that anytime they create something, it has an AI watermark.
Right.
They want that. Plus now they want to be able, they're working on software so that you can tell the difference. The real problem here is when you're using certain things online, when you're doing digital, it's digital. So whether it's AI or us, it's still kind of digital. So they're working on a way to be able to distinguish the difference. Well, you can make no, Mark. You can make money off of AI, but you can get in trouble at the same time. So AI can't be copyrighted. But you can go out and make an original design with AI and go out and sell it to the yin yang. But your neighbor who sees it, he can go sell it too. There's nothing you can do about it. Even though you created it, he can still go sell it. There's nothing you can do about it. But now here comes the kicker. If that piece of art that you're selling happens to come from something really close that someone else did, say in the past, you can be in lieu of copyright. So to put this in perspective, I seen one of these the other day, and I haven't had a chance to call it. So Tom Wood, when he was younger, did, what was it, a Phoenix? Wasn't it for our Walmart? Fire Phoenix, or no? What was it? Was it a Phoenix? Anyway, he did a picture. It was a fire picture or something. I thought it was a Phoenix, but it might have been an animal. Made a lot of money off of it. Well, just recently I seen an AI version that looks mighty, mighty, mighty close to the one I seen he did for Kmart. So it's what it did. It just found it somewhere online and just pulled it. If you go, it's from the 70s or the 80s, we're just going to pull this and nobody's going to notice. AI is bad. It's stealing its ass off all over the place. It's the only way politely I can say it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just stealing everyone's material. Well, AI got a lot of good things. Don't get me wrong. AI is going to change the world in good ways, and it's bad ways too, but in a lot of good ways. In 100 years, there won't even be a pilot on your plane or your car or anything. AI will be driving everything. Yes, just scary.
Well, I saw an article this morning too about AI influencers. A lot of these they've got, like on Instagram, they've got these AI influencers, these pretty girls. One's said, here's the first one I saw. She was here in America, 2.5 million followers. And then another one in South America with 7.5 million followers.
Which means she's making 6 figures on TikTok and ain't even alive.
Yeah. And what is they're targeting Gen Z, and surveys of Gen Z, they don't care that it's AI or not, they'll just
and that's why the vice president called y'all stupid. Oh, did I say that out loud? Damn, bad joke. Bad. I'm pleading the fifth. I didn't say that. I'm sorry, guys. Let's just slip that. I did a show last night. I'm sorry. It's political. I apologize. It's still stuck in my head. It's hard to get that stuff out of your head when you talk about it for 5 hours. I just, I know John and them work hard. They have a lot of integrity in their contest. I don't want to see it, anything tamper with it all. I'm very protective of them now. I was very mean to them in the beginning, but I'm very protective of them now. It's, no, they work hard for what they do. All of them. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't, to be frank with you, everybody I've met in the group over there work extremely hard. Every one of them. Some, what do you mean some work harder? No, they work there happy. You know what's off. That's why I could never work for them. I'd be like, what are y'all trying to kill me, man? Jesus, I work enough as it is. I'm just saying. I watch. So some years I get to see John in the morning when I go, and sometimes we're working different circles depending on what we're doing. But a lot of mornings we'll meet, might have a little chit chat, have a little breakfast, have coffee, some juice, and then boom, both of us are doing interviews all day long, or something along those lines, or talking with somebody, because there's a lot of talking that goes on that's not actually on the microphone about what's going to be discussed. And judges are different than winners, because winners really don't have a say in this. We're just interviewing them. Judges can kind of dictate part of the tone of the conversation. One, because they're judges, and two, they've done this a few times over the years. You seen that, Gloria? That was a fabulous interview. So John was just talking about Arson Scott Card earlier. He had a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if any of that stuff was recorded. Probably not. Well, because they were just book signings and stuff. It's not really so much. It's not. We don't really. Well, you can record it, but most people aren't going to watch that. But John's got a couple of interviews with him. I've got two. I've got one interview with him. What? No. So if you go listen to the interview him and I did, it's a very different interview. It crosses 14, 16 topics at least. We talk about his career. We talk about. So everybody told me don't bring up Ender's Game with him, so I didn't. So he brought it up, and we talked about that and how he felt about certain things about that, and then we talked about the problem he had a while back with people being what to him. And then we talked about other things, and we talked about where we were in the country and how his books could help. Yes, he's actually a wonderful person to talk to. He's very spirited, very, very. I was a very intense conversation. I enjoyed. I told John it's probably the best interview I did at the entire conference, and I did some really good ones last year. There was some really good ones got done last year. One of them is last I checked is up to like 600,000 or something. It's Jody. Jody, I don't know how she does it. Jody is our number one interview on YouTube right now. Has been for 2 years. I don't know. Maybe it's that pink outfit she wears. I have no idea. But she is a sweetie pie. No, I know her husband. She's a sweetie pie. She's very fun to talk to. She's laid back. Her and I must have crossed 30 topics talking. Yes. And she's a hard worker too. No, she's a judge.
She's the coordinating judge for the writer contest.
Yes, she's got her stuff together. How she reads as much as she does is beyond me. The woman is like, well, she's got to read y'all. And one of the things her and I talked about is how to make sure you're getting a shot with your story to get looked at. Because if I'm gonna say this, which I shouldn't, but if they're reading and they're 2 pages in and they're like la 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 la, and they turn the third page and they're loud, guess what?
You know more on that one. Yeah.
That's the end of that. Well, no, I'm just trying to be honest with y'all because I want to help y'all out. You need something. You don't have to be like a whirlwind in the next, 50 paragraphs, but you have to give them something to want to read on. That's not just her. That's anybody who may pick up your book. So I'll be honest with you. If because a lot of times I'll pick up a book because I really like the cover, and I'll open a book and I'll be la 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 la. And sometimes I'll look at Linda like, flip the page. Well, I can read really fast when I want to. And I'm like, la, 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 put it back down. I'm on to something else. No, people, you've got to be able to do it. It's called a hook. And it's just like a good cover. Like I just said, that cover is what made me pick up the book. Not the title, but the cover. Well, there's some really good covers. Actually, for some reason, this one, not so much the book, but the T-shirt gets a lot of attention. I've had people ask me, "Is she naked?" I'm no, she's not. She's got obviously she's got clothes on. It's but I have been asked about that particular because I wear, I get a couple T-shirts from every year, and for some reason that one gets a lot of attention. Maybe it's because it's white. I have no idea, but it gets a lot of attention. Nothing negative. It's all really nice stuff. A lot of artists see it and really like it for some reason, and that's Dan's, isn't it? And he one who did this one, Dan DeSantis, isn't he one that did this?
Yeah, he's the illustrator of this one here.
He's like the artist of God, man. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, he was at Dragon Con.
Yes, yeah, he's also a blast. He I'm sorry, he cracks me up. I've got to hang out with him 2 years. He cracks me up. We were swapping drink. Well, not last year. The other year was not. I wasn't. Who said that? No, I didn't drink anything last year. Sometimes I don't drink. I don't. It's a thing. Matter of fact, I was at a party the other night, and a friend of mine said, "You're not going to even have a cocktail." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not in the mood for it. I gotta want to drink." Mm-hmm. I'm still recovering from the Australian guy, anyway. Y'all would have had to be there. That's all I can say. Oh man, he was something else. Yeah. Where is he, by the way? You heard from him lately?
Yeah,
he's still in Europe.
Yeah, he's in Finland or whatever. He's writing, creating games.
Send me his email. I don't know what I did with it. I thought I had it, or maybe I just got his name wrong on it or something.
Sure.
I wanted to talk to him. I call him Mr. Blue Eyes. Oh yeah, he's got some big old blue eyes, and he is it. He's up on a couple of articles, plus he's on at the gala event twice, isn't he?
Well, he was
because I know the year he won, he was on video.
He was on video one, and then the second time he came, he was actually there in person.
Yes, he's no man. That's in Foreigners did that. That was him and them 3 UK boys. They were just trying to get me in trouble. I don't know what that was about. Look, I am sweet and innocent like. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mr. Nose Grow.
I used the word like. I said like. Y'all really, people, you should submit, because if you win, it's going to change your life. It really is. In a lot of different ways. I'm not saying it's going to make you a millionaire rich, and it might do that for you too. But it's going to change your life. One, it's going to give you a whole new group of friends that you never, and it's going to be friends that share an interest that you have. And what's really nice about it is the writers are a little bit more, how can I say this nicely? They're a little bit more outgoing than the illustrators tend to be younger, and they're a little bit more they hold themselves a little tight, so they get to meet these other illustrators. And I noticed that like every year I noticed this too, they loosen up after a couple of days of talking with the other illustrators.
Yeah.
Well, it's a weird thing. So this is an observation, it's only mine. So since the 5 seasons I went there, I find that the illustrator judges are quite a bit more outgoing than the author judges, but the author winners are quite a bit more outgoing than the illustrator winners are. You figure it out. And the illustrators are younger. No. It's not that anybody's bad or anything. It's just some are more talkative than others. Mm-hmm. And some of them are pretty good drinkers too. It's a lot of fun. All I can do is tell you to submit. You're done for this year, right? Aren't you wrapped up now?
September 30th, 30 days of September. Okay. Yeah. So we're in the last month of year 41. So
you better submit. No, you better submit now, and then you can submit again. It's just you won't make it this year. You'll be next year. You'll be 20.
Chris Winspear, that's his name.
Yeah. I knew it was Chris, and just couldn't remember his last name. You know how I remember it's Chris because he's an Australian, and Chris Hemsworth is from down there. That's how I remember his first name, but I never could remember his last. No, he's a good-looking guy. He's a nice guy. He's a lot of fun to talk to. Yeah, we talked about a lot of different things. I just watched it because I knew he was hungover when he had to do the 24-hour story. I thought it was funny as hell. No, because Tim Powers asked me to go around and sneaky videotape everybody, because we were at the Roosevelt that year, and they got the mezzanine on top, so you can look down on the lobby and get a lot of good video in. And I had the Zoom set up so, because different people use different mediums to write with. And same thing for the artists. Some of them some are using their computers, some are using paper. Yes, it's a lot of fun to watch. Well, no, the illustrators have something they got to go through like that too. I just happen to catch the Arthur's Moshias. You got to win, yeah. You got to win, or you got to be important. So John will invite you if you don't win. But other than that, I don't know what to tell y'all. What blonde? I don't know any blondes that work for them. Let me go through my head. Who? No, she is not blonde. Don't even call her that. She will smack the crap out of you. Where did you get it? Emily is not blonde. She got beautiful brown hair. I have no idea where you're getting blonde from. I'm not saying she ain't never been blonde because I don't know for sure, but not since I've known her.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, her hair got long. I was telling that the last time I talked to her. No, she's another one that can't sit still. I don't know how these two even have a conversation half the time. It's like... no, they're there.
We try to get out and do various convention stuff so we can meet people, and we invite people to come see us at the booth. We love it.
Yeah. Hang out, chit chat with him.
Yeah.
Take him out to dinner next time you see John. He likes a good steak.
Yeah, we were in San Diego there for the 4 days, and then to Tampa for 3 days. Dragon Con actually for 5 days, and we'll be in Salt Lake City for 3 days. So we try to get around, and so we can be very, visible.
I'm gonna tell you a little secret. If you want to get on Emily's good side, bring her a bowl of tiramisu about this big around. Make sure it's not the cheap shit either. You'd be on her good list after that. You'd be on her good Santa Claus list after that.
Yeah, chocolate. She loves nice milk chocolate.
She
loves chocolate.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, Jack, no, you're right. No, Amelia's sending me some this year, but she only sends it in the wintertime because she said it'll melt if she sends it in the summertime. Yeah, I seen you post that earlier if I'm getting any more chocolate. Well, you're not getting any of it. Hell, I'm lucky I get any. Last time the kids were here and I came home when half the box was gone. I still remember someone, what's this? I said, it's a Kit Kat from Canada. I said, it's got a different name. He's like, really? He took like half of them. Oh, you little shit, get out of my house. It's actually their chocolate tastes different than ours. I'm not going to lie to you. It tastes different than ours. It's a better chocolate. It's a better quality chocolate. Shh, I did not say that out loud. Y'all did not hear that, okay? If anybody asks, Joe says America's got the best chocolate.
Well, a lot of the problem that happens in America is they stop using sugar and they start using corn syrup, which is just the worst.
Oh, yeah. Or that. I forgot that other stuff they use now, too. It's just nasty.
Yeah, the artificial stuff in corn syrup, it's just like it's just nasty for bodies.
Yeah. Oh, so what's that? Okay, Bruce. So if you drink Coca-Cola and you drink the bottle, you're still getting whatever they use for sweetener now. But if you buy the Mexican Coke, it's cane sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Difference.
Yes. No, they sell them all over down here. I mean, and it tastes different. It tastes like the old Cokes do.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, when you popped a little bottle of Coke like that, that should burn your eyeballs, your nose, your ears. You knew you was drinking a Coke. Today, not so much. But if you get one from Mexico, it does have a better taste, and it has that same kick that the original ones did. I don't know. I mean, that's Coca-Cola, and they guard that recipe something fierce, man. There's only 2 copies in the whole damn world. And there only used to be one. There's 2 now in case like a hurricane blows the Coke plant away in Atlanta or something. No, it's seriously. Look, I mean, Pepsi tried to make it 10 different times. Well, no, Pepsi's tried to emulate Coke. And I do remember one time Coke tried to emulate Pepsi. That was the nasty Coke. The new Coke, whatever it was called. It was nasty. Who's my favorite judge? I cannot tell you that. One, they might hear this video. I don't want to start no trouble. Actually, to be totally honest, I don't really so much have a favorite. They're all so a lot of times I'm hanging out with the illustrators, which would be Tom, Dan, and Echo. If we're just hanging around in the bar. Now, if it's earlier in the day, whatever illustrator judges, I'll usually be sitting in the lobby with them, whatever they're talking to, just eavesdropping on the conversation and dropping some information in from time to time. Well, I like to talk, but sometimes it's just better to listen. Yeah, I'm a good listener. Almost all my friends will tell you that. Just. I've got, which I got to send to John one of these days. I've got 15, 18, 19 stories I wrote from different things I heard while sitting there listening over the last 2 years. I finally just sat down one night. Matter of fact, I was sitting in my bedroom, had my laptop on my lap, and just started banging away. Well, it started with a conversation that Wesley Dean Smith had, and it wasn't Kevin J. Who was it? Why did I get these two guys
A writer
confused?
judge?
It's a writer's judge.
Todd?
Whose birthday was it?
Well, we had Nadia Corfor, was her birthday a couple years ago.
It's a guy. No, he has his birthday. Last 2 years he's had his birthday because we walked over to the pizza joint and had pizza with him. He brought half the people with him. Oh, what is his name?
Tim Powers?
No. It's the other. His name kind of sounds like Kevin's does. Oh, I don't know. It'll come to me sooner or later. But he's there every year, whoever he is. Shame on Joe for his name going right out of my head because I was thinking about it before I said it, and then it just went right out of my head. But anyway, listening to him too, he was talking about his friend is the lead singer from Rush.
Oh, Kevin, that's Kevin Anderson.
Oh, was it Kevin? Okay. For some reason I was thinking it was somebody else. But anyway, I was sitting there with him and Wesley Dean Smith listening to this conversation. And I actually asked about halfway through the conversation, if you'd like me to leave, I will. Because, it was getting to be kind of a personal conversation because they were talking about this guy getting cancer and dying and him going up to see him for the last time. And I'm not going to get into detail, people, but it was a very personal conversation. So I actually sat down one night and wrote how I felt about it down because I didn't want to write the conversation down because I felt like that would be inappropriate. But I wrote down what I felt about the conversation, which was a very touching conversation. That's all I can tell you. It's you mean Wesley? He's nuts. Oh man, he's
Dean Wesley Smith. He lives in Las Vegas, and he's got his wife Chris Rush.
Yes,
Christine Catherine Rush. They're both judges. They were winners from the first volume.
Yeah. So if you can get Dean to sit still, and if you're a winner, he will. But if you can get him to sit still, not only is he an author, he's got his whole publishing empire with him. This guy does from start to finish. And you can talk to him about all of that in between. Matter of fact, we sat down at a barbecue one night. I think it was the first year I went out there with a group of students explaining what is a C Corp versus a S Corp versus a corporation. Because they were wanting to know what you should start off with. Well, when you first start, you don't need any of that. So y'all know this, people. Just your name is fine. Certain things that protect you, like limited liability companies that protect you. So if you do something stupid, you don't lose your house and all. Corporations actually takes your name out of it completely, and it becomes a separate entity. Yes. Oh, there's lots of other things that go, but it goes by layers of money. You don't need those unless you're at a certain place money wise. Yeah, it was a great conversation. Yes. And these guys learned a lot of stuff from him. And then, a lot of the youngins, I call them youngins, most of them aren't young, but they will follow the judges around like the judges are milking their cats. I mean, it's crazy. It's I can't remember the illustrator's name. He was hanging out with Tom Wood and not Larry Nevin, Larry Elmore, and myself. Now, this guy would not get away from these guys because he wanted a job, and he's damn good at what he did. And he ended up doing some work for Tom Wood, matter of fact. So there's opportunities there to be had on multiple levels. The fact, what was that, Mark? Yeah. Oh, Larry. No, I've got to meet Larry too. Larry's a blast.
Yeah, that was Zane Lodi. That was Zane Lodi that got the job. He was the grand prize winner a couple years ago for volume 38.
Larry can talk circles around me. Oh, easily. Besides that, he's got stuff I actually want to hear, so I'll just shut up anyway. He's amazing. He has got great stories. I mean, him and I talk. I've interviewed him like 3 times now, and we've had several conversations where we were sitting at the bar, not so much drinking, more eating than anything else, and talking about. No, he drinks. That's not what I meant, but talking about every damn thing you can think of. Oh, no. So I've talked to him about how he started, all that stuff in between there, what kind of shit he went through in his life to get to where he was the guy doing the artwork for Dungeons and Dragons to get to where he is today. And he has got, and I'm a big fan of oils. It's one of the reasons I like Echo so much. Larry has got some beautiful pictures. I mean, no, you're not getting them cheap if that's what you're asking me. He still does commission work, so you could call him if you could find him, and or if you have really nice hot rods, he might trade you some work for really nice. He's into that kind of stuff. He's a great guy. He is. No, I said Larry Niven. I weird Larry out for some reason. First year he thought I was like the axe murderer or something. The second year I was his date. I forgot who it was. One of the girls.
Larry's going to be in Salt Lake City. Larry Niven.
Oh yes, yeah. I wish I was there because he's fun to talk to. Well, you see, okay, this is how life really is. So John had told me Larry's kind of quiet one day, and then Emily reinforced that a couple of days later because they knew I was going to be doing an interview with him. And they said, well, Joe, he's kind of quiet. So I was preparing for an interview where I was going to have to, shit. He out-talked me. And, I mean, he got to talk, and I was like, well, this guy can talk. And it was a great interview. It's on all of these interviews we're talking about to right now are available on Facebook or YouTube or on SoundCloud. He's a good guy. And I don't know, he's always been really nice to me, even though I weirded him out a couple of times. He's always been really nice to me. Larry's great, Dan's great, Tom's great. Tim Powers is fabulous. Him and his cokes, man. He just cracks me up. He did what's the name of the book? Stranger Tides. On Stranger Tides. Okay. And well, that's the basis of the Caribbean movies, people. Yes. He's a character. Him and Jody to me are two of the best couple teachers that no, okay, let me rephrase that because that sounded like I meant they were a couple. I just meant together because they always have two teachers. It's just they do a fabulous job. The funniest two I've ever seen was Dean Wesley and Todd McPhee.
That shit hilarious.
That was too much, man. I was cracking up. Well, they didn't agree. They didn't agree. They agreed, but they didn't agree. It's the only way I can say this. They agreed on basic principles on how you should be doing this if you're an author. But when it came to advertising and how to do things, Todd had brought some really nice stuff with him to put behind you while he was there. Dean's like, you don't need all that crap. I was like, I'm thinking, God, I might have to slap you if you told me that. No, they're friends. There wasn't no, meanness there or anything like that.
That's one of the things that you get from the judges because there isn't like, this is how you write a story. This is what you do to promote yourself. So we give some to everybody, and some people will relate, well, I'm too much of an introvert to go out and do social stuff. I want to do traditional publishing. Yep. So you get people to help with that. And other people like, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and learn how to do this stuff here. But you've got like Tim Powers will not go to conventions and do the panels and stuff like that. And Jody, that's what she does big time. Yeah. So they come up and they start talking about it. And he's, well, I disagree. Don't do, I've never done, I'm not going to do it. So you're going to get something from everybody that's going to be a little bit different. And so that's one thing that makes it really good is that you can take this, you can take that and use what you want to use and save everything else. So maybe later on in your career, now I can use what this person told me. So it's something for everybody, but it's fun. Like you're saying with Todd and Dean, how they just get up there and they fence with each other, with the different.
And they're teaching you at the same time.
Yeah.
Just all kind of pearls of wisdom coming out while they're bantering back and forth. It was a great. When I first heard it, I was like, uh-oh. And then when I sat down, because I was sitting in there, and because I usually sit in the back and listen, and it was fabulous. Or I'm walking around taking pictures. If Maliva gets in there taking pictures, I gotta go take pictures because I like to make Maliva crazy. It's I don't need to know who she is. Was that her at DragonCon?
No, that was Lucy.
Oh God, she looks a lot like her. Jesus, I better shut up before I get myself in trouble.
Yeah,
Jesus, I was like, y'all don't need to know who Maliva. Maliva is evil. She is like Satan's ex-wife or something.
Joe,
y'all just don't know, man.
Stop
I love her to death because she was Satan's ex-wife. No, she's a lot of fun to talk to. I just make her nervous for some reason.
You make a lot of people nervous, Joe.
I'm so sweet. I don't know how that could possibly be. It was that was that Chinese girl last year. She goes, I heard I should be nervous or anything. I was like, why? She said, well, they said you can ask some hard questions sometimes. I'm like, really? So we do the interview, and the interview, she's like, this was just so easy. I was thinking, oh, people get, oh no, Jimmy, no. In all fairness to all the winners, they do get nervous. One, a lot of times we're doing live interviews that could be going out to a decent sized audience. They know sooner or later I'm going to air these to a decent sized audience. And so, when you do radio, you got or TV, you got to be careful because if you do something really stupid, and even if it's on a small, never even heard of network, that shit could end up going viral, and you'll be hearing about it for the next decade. But they do get nervous, but I usually calm them down pretty fast. And the suites we're in are usually nice, so they get comfortable, and I can put them off. And now there is one you should go look at. It's Larry Elmore, Echo Cherney, and Tom Woods. It's funny as hell. Then there's another good one that's Echo, Dan DeSantis, and Tom, which is another. They're all three sitting on a couch, passing them. You can't see the mic. It's one of them snowball bikes, and they're passing it back and forth. What? No, everybody's sober. We don't do drunken interviews. We're professional people. I didn't say we don't drink, but we don't do drunken interviews. If that's what you're asking, no, we don't do that. John would be cussing me the next day. It's no, they're just really they're fun interviews because we're going back and forth with a lot of different questions, and then they're doing questions themselves to each other, and it just makes for it's a playful interview, I guess is a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, John and I both like doing interviews. Well, between us, we get quite a few done. Last year may have been a record for me. I think the first year was because they had dual sets that year. So I had close to 80 interviews in. For them, I've done, I don't know, 60, maybe 70 winners and 15 or 18 judges. No, about 15 judges, yeah. I'm missing some judges. As a matter of fact, I was talking with Carmen about that yesterday. It's but every year we get every person who attends. Sometimes it's just one interview. So everybody gets at least one interview. The winners will always get 2 interviews. And then sometimes Carmen and I, because we doing it different now, we did everybody ahead of time, and then we redid the ones that we knew were going to be good interviews in person. Yeah, so instead of having, say, like 24 of the winners, we ended up with about 45 interviews out of the winners. Yeah, and then we got into the judges. Yeah. Well, no, they're great interviews. I would tell you, listen to all of them. They're all different. They all think differently. Well, she's Chinese. She's not from China, though. She's from America. They do have some winners that come in from China, but they got winners.
Last year we had winners from 8 different countries. The year before from 9 different countries. So,
well, we plug them all the time, and even this show is probably going out to at least 100 countries. So, John's Right as the Future goes out to at least 100 countries. So we're always constantly, and there are other authors in this network that actually promote them as well. What do you mean? Oh. Right to Michelle DeRoche. Yes. I would just go on her page on Facebook and leave her a message. Yeah. I couldn't even tell you, Boo. I have no idea what shows we have open, what's available, what's not available. That's Michelle's job. Yeah. And things are a little weird right now anyway, so you want to talk to her. As far as Writers of the Future, just submit. Go over to writersfuture.com. Yes, that's another $1 I just made. And I just did. No, I like to pick on John about it. I said if I got $1 for every time I said that, I'd be a billionaire by now. No, Michelle DeRoche, and I'm pretty sure it's Michelle DeRoche at michellederoche.com. But it's usually I have it in front of me. I just don't right now. But I just go to Facebook and write to her. We're always looking for shows, but some shows cost money. Some shows are free. Any of the services all cost money. Yeah. She'll explain all that to you. Yeah, she will. And they cost nothing to join writersofthefuture.com. You go over there. So they got a really good course over there. I haven't talked about this in a couple of months, which is weird. But they have a really good writers course over there that John's wife, Emily, did. And matter of fact, Scott Carter is one of the people on the panel on there.
Yeah.
And so what I would do is I would go in and read all the rules. Okay, because I do know you already do writing. I know that from some stuff we've talked about in the past. So you'd have to find out what the cap is. I know you can't write any more than 17,000 words. I don't know what their money cap is as far as money goes. So you'll have to go look at that, what they consider a professional writer and what they don't.
It's eight right now. It's whatever at the time you sold, whatever the pro rates were. Currently, it's 8 cents a word. So if you're selling something right now, you can't. If it's 8 cents a word or more, that's considered pro rates.
So there you go, guys. You got that already right out the way. But well, illustrators have rules too. So, but anyway, go over there, read the rules. I would take the course, even though I know you've written 4 books now. I would still take the course.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've got it's for intermediate, but there's a lot of people say, oh, because it's every piece of writing a story. So it has how to open a story, how to do dialogue. Orson Scott Card has an amazing section on writing dialogue, and then there's the middle of a story, how to create suspense, how to end a story, the denouement at the end. All those pieces are individually created with videos between Orson Scott Card, Tim Powers, and Dave Wolverton, who passed away a few years ago, but he was considered the story doctor. And then there's a dozen interviews or dozen essays by L. Ron Hubbard. And then hopefully this year we've got another 3 or 4 interviews that we've recorded that we just need now to edit and upload. They'll be added to the online course.
So, I mean, all that information's there. Well, actually, Jack, you know what's funny? I do say I never completed, but only have never completed it because I wouldn't send Emily the 3 stories I wrote. So at the end, when you finish the course, they want you to, well, there's a couple times in there you can write stuff, but at the end, they want you to write just a little short story. I'm not sending that to Emily. She'll be going, Joe, I'm going to shoot you next time I see you. No, that's not. Besides, I don't want to torture the poor woman. It's well, I had written 67,000 words, then I deleted it, but thank God it was backed up somewhere else. So right now it's at 74.5. I've got the computer going through. As a matter of fact, while I was talking right now, I've got it going through looking for grammar and spelling stuff. It's just searching through it. I don't know. It's like in slow mode or something, but I can see it from now going by, leaving little red or blue lines underneath stuff. Well, see, I have to type. I can't. My brain works faster than my fingers, so I got to. See, I've tried that. The audio stuff, I've tried that, but my coon ass accent, it'll be really, really good, and then all of a sudden the computer's like, "What did he just say?" What? And it'll throw some words in there like I have no idea where it came from. So I'm trying to mitigate by slowing my brain down a little bit and making my fingers a little faster. And that way there's not as many mistakes. But if I stop while I'm writing to correct mistakes, I'll forget what the hell I was thinking about. So I gotta write through whatever the thought is, and then I can stop. I'm not a professional writer. No. And I can't send that to Writers of the Future. It's 70-something thousand words. It only takes 17,000 words. When it's all said and done and finished, I'll cut an excerpt out of it where it's really good, and I'll send them that. Yeah. But hopefully by that time, this thing is on the bookshelf somewhere. It's their fault. I'm writing the damn thing. No. People have been asking me to do. I've actually been asked to write a couple of different style books. One about my own personal experiences, but they wanted me to do I don't know what you'd call it, like a manual for ICAR, which is a group I work for, and some more kind of like nuts and bolts stuff. Yeah. One of these days I might. Actually, I write better when I'm with them for some reason. It's some reason at night when just before I go to bed, I can sit down and punch out between 5,000 and 10,000 words. I guess it's from listening to all them authors all day long or something.
Yeah.
I really, I don't know. No, Chris is being serious. I don't know. If I ever get it finished, it'll probably be you'll probably get converted into a movie. It's a really scary 10-day event, 11-day event. Yeah. Well, we've been talked about it before when originally we had published something to a group and it got leaked, and we had been asked if we'd be considering to make like a little short documentary out of it, and I said no. It's not always about the money, Michael. No, sorry, dude. And real money and fake money is not the same thing anyway. So John's gonna be in Fan X.
Yep.
Yes, and then he's going to Germany. So all our, I know we got listeners in Germany, so y'all be nice to John when he's over there. Take him to get some really good dinner, man.
Yeah, I had last year. I had a one of my contest enters. She's in the military, so she was stationed over there visiting her sister, and they invited me to dinner. So that was really nice.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always best to be on the local with locals or people who's been there long enough that they know the local stuff.
Yeah.
I like to travel when I know
but it was
people.
really good.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you come down to New Orleans and there's places I'd take you, you'd be like, is that place safe to eat at? And then you'd go in there and eat, and you're like, Jesus, best food I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Because the building itself is probably 200 years old. It's an old city. It's not like Europe, though, but it's an old city. New Orleans is 365 years old altogether or something. And there's lots of old buildings running around the city. Lots of old restaurants. They got restaurants. I mean, Antoine's is what? 150 years old, I think. I'd have to go look it up. Well, Antoine's is the one Anne Rice writes about. So when you walk into Antoine's, you look on the left wall, you're going to see pictures of all the people all the Antoines who have run the place. And you'll notice they're all wearing different clothes, but they all look very similar. So Anne Rice said it was the same person, that he was a vampire. And every so many years, every 30, 40, 50 years, he would just remake itself. Yes, and he would be the new Antoine's, and he'd still have Antoine's. They got great food at Antoine's. Yes. I actually went there with some friends for dinner and a ghost. Yeah, because they say the place is really haunted. The dinner was really good. The ghost was a no-show, but the dinner was really good. I'm willing to try anything once. I don't know. So it's funny because they haven't always done Writers in the Future in LA. Now that you said that. And I was jealous because I found that they had done it at NASA a couple of times. I would have for sure got my ass in trouble there. I'd have been hopping the space rods someplace. No, where was it originally? In New York, wasn't it?
First one was in New York. Yeah, we've been the first probably 30 years. We were all over the place. We had a few in LA, but we were in Johnson Space Center. We were there twice, and we were in Kennedy Space Center once. We were at that one. We were the closest civilians to one of the space shuttle launches, and so we witnessed that, and that was really cool because
I bet you
some of the judges hadn't seen a launch, but they've been writing about it. They've not seen one before, so it was really fun watching them. But you're there, and we were there surrounded by swamps, and there's signs posted, don't go near the edge because there's alligators and snakes, and you had to totally swab yourself up so you don't get eaten alive by the mosquitoes. But then when the shuttle took off,
I was telling you the other day,
you could see it, and your whole body was shaking. Just the amount of when those rockets going, you're a mile away, but you're just like shaking. And then the thing, we're so spoiled by television. Within a minute, it's gone. It just takes it and it's gone. You just see a little speck, but you're so used to watching it on TV where you got this angle, this angle, this angle, this angle. So like a launch can go for 4 or 5 minutes, and then they do the replays and they do all the different angles that they do here, and here's this and here's that. But it was just amazing, just the sheer amount of force that was going on that a mile away. You could still feel that just reverberating through your whole body.
Yeah, it's powerful. I've seen it twice, but it's well, actually I've seen an Apollo launch when I was a kid, and then I seen a shuttle launch.
Yeah,
and
we were at the World Trade Center. We were in Seattle. We've been in San Diego at the Space Museum there. But yeah, we've been many, many different places. But what we like is when we can do it in Hollywood, because that's where our offices are, and that's where we have the L. Ron Hubbard Library, which is always a highlight for people coming to see there, because you don't really realize how much he wrote until you go to the library and sees, oh my gosh, all these books are written by him, and all these different genres, and it's way cool.
Or people, if you really want to know, you can go over to their home site and go in there, and you can buy a little stick about this big with all of his stuff on it and put it on your pad or your laptop or your computer and go into a frenzy for a couple of years.
Yeah.
What was that? It's galaxypress.com. Yeah. Just go over there. When you get on it, well, you can buy the whole pad if that's what you're after. No, they got all of that.
Yeah.
I was just being nice until you just go get the thumb drive loaded up with all of the stuff. But while you're there, you can see all the different titles, all the retro artwork, which is great to look at. Well, they've got a lot of I like to call it 20s retro artwork, but it's cool looking stuff. You can go through all of that, and there's just tons and tons of stuff. Some of it's in audio. I mean, there's quite a bit of it in audio, and the rest is just you can read. Well, you can buy the book. I'm sure they would prefer you buy the books, but the pad is really nice, and the thumb drive is great.
Yeah, basically, if you buy all the audios, in essence, you get the iPad for free.
Yeah, see, that's see. Well, no, I got a lot of good stuff over there. I'm just telling you so that it gives you an idea how much he has, and that's just all fiction work, right? That's
It's just a fiction, not a nonfiction.
It's none of the nonfiction. So.
Yeah, he wrote hundreds of fiction, and then there's all the nonfiction as well that he wrote.
When you ask dumb questions about that, especially when it comes to Scientology, you would have to ask him, and he's dead. He's dead. When you go to heaven, you say, Mr. Hubbard, what was your motivation for this? What did you see to make you do this? And I'm sure he'll sit down and say, aren't you supposed to be in hell? I'm sorry. That was wrong on my part. But
he's got if you go to ronhubbard.org, I think there's an essay, My Only Reason for Having Lived. And he talks about why he did what he did.
Well, I like the fact that he liked to travel. When you see a lot of his stuff, you can tell when you read a lot of his stuff or listen to it, you can tell he was very well traveled. And you can tell a difference for someone, because I've traveled a lot myself. You can tell a difference between someone who is writing from a fantasy point of view, that meaning that they've never actually done the travel, just seen it on TV or read it in a book, versus someone who's actually been there. Little intricate things like when he's talking about going through places and customs and stuff and different places like that, or routing around. I mean, he's actually telling you what's going on. So if you haven't been there, you're not going to know that. You're just going to write it up as however you think it should be. I mean, you can research to an extent, but some of the countries he went to, there's not much, especially back when we're talking, there wasn't much in the way of that kind of literature. Even today, there's not that much. A lot of countries have not caught up with the internet yet, and won't for a while yet. Not everybody is like America that's internet savvy. The poor Russians, I don't even know what they call internet over there anymore. China's got an internet, but they can't see anything good. North Korea don't have any internet or no music or no movies or TV and no cars. I'm like, what? We can't blame them for global warming, can we? But all I'm saying is not everybody is up to that. So if you're not traveling and seeing it yourself, you're probably missing out on some stuff. I like to travel. I go all over the place. I talk to everybody, and I like to see what's going on in my general surroundings. It's fun. Well, I mean, if you're one of them freaks that's scared to travel, and don't travel. But if you like to, you mean me personally? I have been to 40 states and 31 countries. 33 countries, sorry. Yeah. Well, I cheated. I joined the Navy. I cheated. I joined the Navy. Most of the 33 countries, well, at least 15 of the 33 countries, maybe 18. I've seen when I was in the service. The rest I've seen for different reasons. I didn't count Canada and Mexico. That's just part of the U.S. Really, really and truly. You mean states I haven't gone? I haven't been to Alaska. I have been to Hawaii, which I watched the Nimitz. I was on a Nimitz as it sailed right past Hawaii. I'm thinking, ain't this a bitch? I mean, we're all sitting. All of us are on the deck. There's like 1,500 of us sitting on the deck watching Hawaii go by. Was in Japan for one day. We had the Nimitz had to stop for something, so they let us on the ship while they were getting it. Most of the South Pacific islands I've been to. England, China. Not China. England, Singapore, pretty much all them little countries up in there. Italy, Spain, the little cluster there. Yeah, there's about 8 or 10 of them that were right there. You could take a train to all of them if you wanted to. And you know what they all had in common? They all read books. No, we get ready to get out of here. I'll give y'all one more question, and we're gonna go. Well, because I smell food cooking in the front of the house, so it's making me hungry. But one more question, and we're gonna go. What is it? Well, I'll see. I'll let y'all scan. Well, I'll let John answer that, but it's pretty self-explanatory. She wants to know why L. Ron Hubbard decided to do this for just ordinary, everyday people.
He created the contest in '83. He just finished writing Battlefield Earth, and he'd had a long history of helping writers and artists in the 30s and 40s. He'd written several essays, and he was on record of having helped some of the major writers at the time get their break. And so he also saw that science fiction was the herald of possibility. It's in his introduction to Battlefield Earth. And so he wanted to provide that outlet for aspiring writers to get that break. And as the arts continue to get defunded and education continues to get more and more deteriorating, he created this contest to provide that an opportunity for writers to do it. And so we have thousands of people entering the contest every quarter. So one thing that requires that people have to write. And if you have to write, you have to read. And so it also forces education and literacy, but the arts themselves is something that he was very strong and very supportive of, both writing and painting. And so he said, okay, I'm going to fund this and continue to fund it in perpetuity. So even though he passed in 1986, it's continued now. We just issued volume 40, and we're almost ready to finish year 41, and it's still coming out of his will that he said, look at where I'm going to continue to fund this. And so it's still going, and it's just really important to him, the arts. And so that he can do it. All the judges that we have, which are some of the biggest names in science fiction and fantasy writing and art, are just so respect him for what he's done and put their name, lending it to it as well to help do this, because nothing else is like this. There is no other competition out there, which is totally blind judged and free to enter and open to anybody who's not professional. So it's something that's very unique. And at this point now, it is so well respected that even when someone gets a honorable mention in the contest, their work will be taken out of the slush pile and read by an editor to say, okay, let's see what this guy has to offer. And I see press releases almost every other week saying I won honorable mention in Rise of the Future, let alone as a finalist. So that's why he did, because he knew what it would build and continue to put the future there for science fiction and fantasy. And it's called speculative, but as a lot of the astronauts, a lot of the engineers that have the things on Mars right now, they got their inspiration from science fiction. And so that's what we're doing here. It's continuing that mentality of I wonder if I can do that and make that happen and continue to put the future there, which is one of the things that science fiction does.
Well, it pays back a lot of people, guys. So y'all should get out there and get involved, buy a book, write a book, do some artwork.
Yeah, we've had almost 1,000 winners now over the 40 years.
No, y'all should really. I'm being serious when I said that. Write a book, draw a picture, send him a stick man. He'll laugh at you, but send him a stick man.
Yeah.
He better be a really good stick man. Because Echo ain't gonna go for no stick people. It better be some really good. It better be like a stick family, man. You mean what mediums? Go to the website and look.
Yeah, in the rules, if you go to riseofthefuture.com, enter the writer contest or enter the illustrator contest, there's a link in there that says rules, and it tells you what you can do, how to submit, what type of art you can use, what type of formats you can use. how to submit the story if it's
what genres you can write in.
Yeah.
Chris, no porn, Chris. No, I've seen that smart ass comment. They'll just toss it in the whatever pile.
Yeah, I won't get anywhere.
Yeah, it's not. I always tell people, somebody asked me this just the other day, and I always tell people the same thing for the last couple of years. I look at it like PG-13, maybe PG-17. You might scrape by with, but PG-13 is safe.
Yeah,
it's
no gratuitous sex, no gratuitous violence. The foul language, no, it gets rejected on that too. It's one thing you'll find too. You don't need that to have a good story either.
No, you don't. I've read 11 of their books now, Jack. Maybe 12. I have to go count and be sure. I've enjoyed all of them. Now, not all stories are good. Not all stories are made equal, but still, there are a lot of good stories in there. A lot of fantasy, a lot of sci-fi, a lot of everything. Actually, just go through. Different years are going to be different ways. You might see more of this one year, more of that one year. Well, fantasy seems. A lot of people write in fantasy. Sci-fi is a pain in the ass to write in. You do see a lot of that too. What's that, Frank? No, we going because it's past my bedtime. Yeah, I go to bed at 6:30 on Saturdays. You just keep believing that. No. You can write it down anytime. Yes, I would go over and visit the sites, check everything out. You might see something you like on either one of the sites. Well, they got a bunch of stuff for sale on that site. There's a ton of it.
Yeah. If you reach me, just write to info@galaxypress.com and it'll be forwarded to me.
Yeah, so there you go. Do that. And if you want to go take the course, look, any of y'all who are prospective writers, I would take the course. I would just take the course.
Yeah, we're up to I think almost 8,000 people. It's a very popular course.
No, it's not hard. That's not the kind of course it is. It's to help yourself to understand how to write a book properly.
Yeah, you go at your own pace. You can read the essays as many times as you want to. You can watch the videos many times you want to. All the videos have transcripts. So if English isn't your first language, you can do the Google Translate and read the transcript in whatever language you speak.
Chris, the first time I took like 6 months because I was playing around, wasn't being serious. The second 2 times I went through it in 2 days. It's different motivations is all I can tell you. Yeah. I was more serious the second 2 times than I was the first time. First time I was just kind of seeing what it was, and I'd go read a little bit, and I'd piddle around. And about a week later, I'd go back and read maybe a little bit, and then go back maybe a month later and listen to an article. Yeah, well, because I was busy. Life is like that. But we're going to go and tell everyone thank you for tuning in to the Authors Quill and United Public Radio on Saturday. I hope y'all go out and enjoy the rest of your weekend and have some fun and stay out of trouble. Don't get any aliens pregnant or anything like that. I don't want to be reading any stories in the Inquirer or nothing. I'm just really and truly, y'all go out and enjoy yourself. And if you are serious about writing or illustrating, this is the place to find out if you got any talent whatsoever. And like I said, if by some chance you win, and probably if you don't win, by just going to the site, you're gonna meet people. It really puts you in. It gives you just help from places you wouldn't expect it. Yeah. And they don't mind reading your book and helping you and giving you constructive criticism.
You can go to the forum. It's free to enter. It's free to join, and you can lurk if you want to, and then you can join it. But you can definitely do that. And then there's winners there that you take a look at the bottom of their page, and you'll see that this guy's willing to review stories if you want to send to them. We have the blog. We have the podcast, obviously. Everything on risethefuture.com is free. So you can enjoy that. And one thing, too, if you're concerned about, I don't want somebody to see my story. And then if it's a real piece that I don't want somebody to recognize my name down the road. Judges don't know who you are. All they ever see is a number. So they don't know your name. And it's funny when sometimes a judge will see somebody, I was a winner in volume 38. It says, well, tell me who you are, because all I ever saw was a number with the story. So then they don't associate a person with the story. So when you tell them, well, they have to tell them what their name is. And I wrote this story. Oh, that was a great story. But up to that point, they don't have a name to go with it. So if you're worried about that, don't.
Yeah.
And you definitely can't win if you don't enter.
Look, people, I go take the course because I told Emily y'all should be charging them $99.99.
Yeah. No, we've been told a lot that we should charge it because it's such a good course.
Well, no, what do you mean, Chris? I just thought they should be. It's a good course. Go take it, learn something about being an author, and go on with your life.
Yeah, and go to write.com to see all this stuff.
Yeah, maybe you'll write the next Ender's Game, or some great book. Maybe you write the next Dune.
Yeah.
Dune. Then we gotta go. Stop it. Y'all all go out and enjoy your lives. There'll be 2 new shows coming on Saturdays in a couple weeks, so I'll let y'all know about them when they actually arrive. Until then, have some fun, enjoy yourselves, and I will see y'all next week. Good night, everybody.